Seeking English, S.A.T. Workbook, page 469, problem 4. I'm often telling people, if you're not sure whether or not to draw something or graph something on the test, start graphing it and see what happens. Start drawing it and see what happens. And that is a good principle to apply on the test. That is not necessarily a good strategy to look forward to applying. Better is figure out why in advance you don't need to draw something or don't need to graph something. Okay. Failing that, yes, draw or graph it on the test. Hopefully, though, if you need this lesson, what you will take from this lesson is a way to avoid the perceived need to draw or graph things. Hopefully, if you understand this lesson and you get a similar problem on the test, the temptation to draw it or graph it will leave you immediately upon just looking at the answers. Okay. So if you need to draw or graph this in order to more fully understand it, then go ahead and do that. I'm not going to do that on the board, but I'm going to trust that if you feel that you need to do that, nothing I say is going to deter you. Do not be deterred. Absolutely take the time to graph this if you feel that you don't understand it well enough. Okay. In the meantime, here's the easy version. Okay. It says in the xy plane, the graph of function f has x-intercepts at -2, 0, and 5, which of the following could define f? And I think that means f of x. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes the way that these things are written is not completely to my preference, but you still have to pick one of these answers based on what you imagine they meant. Likewise, it says it doesn't say that you can't use a calculator, but there really is no way to use a calculator on this problem. I'm aware of nothing that would help you. So am I overthinking it? Yeah. Yeah, it's better that we should overthink this now than during the test. Don't you agree? Okay. Okay. Join me in overthinking it a little bit. Okay, it says that you need 3 intercepts. That means you need 3 ways to produce a 0. F of x has to become a 0 in you have to be able to do it 3 different ways based on what they give you. Okay, that right away should tell you that it's not going to be A or B because each of these only gives you one way to produce a 0. Okay, you put in a -2, you get a 0. Put in a 5, you get a 0. Okay, put in -2 doesn't matter here, and whatever happens here doesn't matter because this will be zeroed out like this. Likewise, if you put in a 5 here, it will zero this out. It will become 0. That's 2 ways to get a 0. Here, another way is a 2 and a -5, and I'm giving you all the details, but you should already know that you don't need to do that. You can already see there's no third way to produce a 0 given these 2 equations, and these are not equivalent equations. Okay, down here, if you've got an x and another x and another x, those are 3 different ways to produce a 0 over here. One is to put a 0 in here. Really? Yes. If x is 0, anything else that gets multiplied by x is also going to be 0. So you wouldn't need to be concerned with that, okay? Okay, so I'm going to put that down here also. That satisfies this 0 here. What are those other values? Well, they're going to be opposite to what's given here. This is a +2. A -2 here is going to give you a 0. And a +5 here is going to give you a 0. Down here, it's going to be 2 is going to give you a 0. And a -5 here is going to give you a 0. They want a -2 and a 5. Okay, there's your -2. If you plug it in here, this zeroes out everything else. Okay? Okay, if you put in this 5 here, it produces a 0 here. That zeroes out everything else. So this is 3 ways to produce a 0 from this equation, and those ways correspond with these values, -2, 0, and 5 down here. So that's your answer. Okay? If you are still confused by this, that's okay. Okay? It's supposed to be a little bit confusing, and if it's problem 4 on the page, it's supposed to be a little bit confusing, at least to somebody. So, as always, don't be shy. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be ashamed. None of those things. Okay. Even if a majority of my students get this one right, and I'm not sure that it's a majority of my students, but this is one of the easier problems on this page for most students on this page. Please tell me what's going on with you mathematically in the comments section. And I will walk you through this either privately or publicly to your preference until you feel that you own this problem, that the structure and content of this problem is absolutely obvious to you before the test. Do not hesitate. Thank you.